Hey, what's up YouTube? So today I am painting my roof liner on my truck. So there's a good reason for me painting this, and it's because the passenger side has a grab handle. The driver's side does not. So people try to grab handle it, and you can see how dirty that is. And yeah, I'm obviously going to put a grab handle in there because there's mounts behind this, but I need to get one from some wreckers or something because, yeah, that is so stupid they don't have it. But anyway, so the plan is, originally I was going to clean that black stuff off because it's obviously dirt, but there's a big thing with cleaning roof liners. It's a bit of a no-no, so I wanted to, I really did. I was thinking like some sort of degreaser. No. Watched a few videos, and as soon as you clean it, add water to it, anything, like degreaser, solvent, it'll separate. And like water with soap, it'll leave like blotches when you paint it, so don't clean it. Just feels wrong because prep is everything. But with roof liners, I think you kind of just gotta paint it, or you could stain it, or you could like wrap it with like a fabric and then like a spray glue. But all those choices, I'm gonna paint it. It's probably gonna be the easiest because with wrapping it, you got all those little corners, and I don't know. I'm not sure how smoothly I better make these corners with wrapping it. And with dyeing it, it can be a little blotchy, and it's a lot easier if you can submerge something when you're dyeing it, like submerge it in water, mixing it with the dyeing material. So I think painting is going to be the best. I've tested which one is going to be best paint-wise. There obviously is like plastic and vinyl and fabric paint. But the best one is like VHS or VHF or something like that. And it's in America. Can't get it in Australia. It's really annoying. I've tried. Even places that say they have it, you call them and they don't have it, and they don't know when they're going to get stock, so I can't do that. And then there is some other companies that do fabric and vinyl paint, but they're pretty on their reviews. So fabric and vinyl paint, predominantly its base is acrylic. So I was like, do I spend a lot more money and do the fabric and vinyl, or do I get something like this? Well, some of the paints I already have, so I figured I'll do a bit of a test, see what works best, see what, doesn't bind up, doesn't stick, is still flexible, goes on nicely with a good spray, and this is my test. Alright, this is pretty much the paints I got. I got this in matte black. I just can't find the matte black one. It's somewhere. And this would be my ideal one. It's $17. This is like $25, and this is like $15 or something. I think this is maybe even $10. Like, this is real cheap. The absolute cheapest of the cheap. Don't really use it for important stuff, just for like, covering up things that don't matter. But yeah, so ideally I think one of these is probably better, because this is, as you can see, at 250 grams as well. This is 340. That's 400. This actually does coat better than this. Like, as far, like, I could use a can and a half of this and I'll still be just one can on this, which is pretty amazing. So I'll see how it goes on some fabric. I think this and this will do better than this, so, but yeah, we'll see. A little lighter coat. Alright, I'm gonna get out of this gas factory and see how it looks tomorrow. So it's the morning. This one, probably the most, roughest, like globby. You can see there's like globby silverness. Black's pretty good. Seems very flexible still. I don't think it's coming off anytime soon. No, like the silver. Look at how you get like bits of silver over your fingers all straight away. And the white's actually gone a bit hard. You can see it sort of doesn't flex as much. That's good. I think it's probably the best option for me then. So I did another couple layers, and it's probably the black that I want the roof liner to be, and it's still very flexible. It's still pretty freshly painted, and it doesn't come off at all, even when I like really wipe at it. And see if that's the case for this. Yeah, same for that, but that was painted yesterday. That still lets a little bit of silver off. So definitely don't use enamel paint. Definitely don't use enamel paint, because that's coming off. You can feel the difference. This is definitely a lot harder, and I found that is the case with the clear coat, wherever that is. The clear coat is very good for vinyl. Like, not for vinyl, sorry, for plastics. Like, I would definitely always use this, or sorry, the 2X and then the clear coat over it, because this company is Polycraft. They make really good clear coat. It's like, all their paints are definitely a lot harder and like more resistant. But for cloth, you don't really need it to be resistant. It needs to be flexible. And just the 2X seems like the one to go for, because this is like, it's harder. You can feel like it's definitely made it like a harder sort of surface. Like it's like a gluggy kind of paint. And this is thin. Like, look at that. It's almost like it's been dyed, how thin that is. And this is, I mean, look at that. You can see how much it doesn't want to bend. And I didn't put that on. I did multiple coats with this one. Like, even if I put it down there, it's just so flexible. So yeah, if you're gonna do this, 2X is really good, and it's the cheapest as well, this is great. It doesn't seem to come off. Like, that is. I couldn't scratch that harder. That's amazing. Yeah, look at that, immediately silver. Definitely do not use. I found the matte black. Definitely don't use that. Maybe for metal, epoxy, or whatever it is, enamel, don't use on cloth. 100% no. So after that, I have gone with 2X, which is pretty awesome, because it actually, when it says 2X, it actually means it. Like, and this is not paid promotion or anything, but yeah, I've never really tried it, and then I tried it on some of my plastics, and it goes on well. And then I topped it with a clear coat, because yeah, it does scratch off when you're painting plastics. It does say it. I think it even says also bonds to plastics, and it's good. It's a good paint, like way better than I thought it was going to be. And when it says double coat technology, I don't know how they do it, but it's legit. It's a 340 gram can, and yeah, it probably coats more than the 500 gram cans, or even like sort of, there's like, I have a 400 gram, and I did 1.5 400s to one of these. So this is also cheapest. It's like $12. Don't quote me on that, but it's like $12 or so for this, which is insanely cheap. So on the test, as you can see, I sprayed it, and it's remained flexible. It seemed to be the best one, despite it being like, yeah, a sort of thicker sort of material. So first things first, obviously can't wash it, so get a brush that's clean. This is just paint, and just try to like brush all the little bits of crap or any loose, see like this, little loose hairs and shit like that, even though it's really stubborn. Oh my God. So any of that sort of stuff, try and just brush off, and just brush it to the best of your abilities to get every little bit of shit off. Because remember, you don't want to be washing this, because it will end up blotchy after you've painted it. So yeah, do that, and then I'm going to hang on this line to paint it. And if you see these incredible clean spots right here, I can hang it from here, and you never see this spot because it's covered by something. Because yeah, you can see all this bit is super clean, so this is all covered by something. So I will paint around that, but I'm going to hang it here and hang it here from the line, so I can give it its first light coat. Don't forget to shake your can a bunch. And yeah, actually surprisingly, a lot of this just brushed off a lot of the dirt. Like, it looked really oily, but it wasn't very oily. Actually just brushed off. Come on. So just start with like a fairly light coat at the start. And yeah, just sort of keep it even. See how thick and like how much this comes on. It's good stuff. So yeah, pretty much just do that the whole way up. Maybe about that thickness. Maybe like, I'd say like no thicker than that. And just do that the whole way. Leave it for 10 minutes. Do another coat, a little bit thicker, and yeah, pretty much just go from there. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So this is how it's looking. It's obviously, it doesn't look so patchy in real life. It looks a lot more blended. I think the camera sort of ups the contrast a little bit. Like, I mean, that right there, that's just a shadow from the line. And it really shows that. But yeah, so I'm out of the can, or pretty much. It was maybe a third in there at the time, so I'm gonna go get a couple more cans. Probably get 2 because it's obviously a fairly large roof liner. But yeah, I'll see how it goes. So you probably don't need to do this, but I'm personally going to do this between coats. Once it's dried, I'm just going to do this a little bit just to remove any like any glugginess that like connects, like, because they're obviously like tiny little fibers. So if they get all glugged up together and then you keep going coat after coat after coat, they're going to be a lot more like binding together. So if I can do this and just free them up a little bit for the next coat and just do that every time I do a coat, then they should stay a lot more like fluffy and nicer to touch if I'm ever going to touch it. But it should look a bit more uniformed and nice if I'm always agitating it between coats. But yeah, you probably need like at least 20 minutes. Like, it can't be tacky at all if you're doing this. It's got to be, you know, dry. So the reason I changed location is because it started raining fairly heavily, and I don't want it obviously getting wet. And just remember, when you're doing this, just keep it even coats if you can. Like, you can see I did a bit heavier there by accident, but if you can, just try to, like, you know, keep it nice and even, because the more even you can do it now, the nicer the result at the end. This is pretty heavy stuff, this paint, but yeah, if you can keep it as even as you can, the end result will look much nicer. But keep in mind, this is a roof, and if it's black, you can probably make a fair few mistakes, and it won't be super obvious because it's above you, it's the darkest point, because it's like on top looking down. Like, if you look at the floor here, fairly bright. You look at the roof, not very bright. Obviously my phone tries to brighten things up, but the floor is always going to be brighter than the roof, particularly in a car, unless it's like a white color. But if it's black and it's on the roof, it's going to be pretty dark. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Like, if you do mess things up, it's probably not going to look so bad when it's actually in the vehicle. Oh, I'm so glad I brought it in. And yeah, I reckon that's already looking, like, I could probably say that's done. And I've still got about a third of the can left. So I've used about 1 can in total. This is about what I started with the last can. I still got another can. That's probably done, but I'll let it dry, and I'll go over the brush. I'll just do 1 more coat because, like, I may as well. And yeah, that 2X, this is good stuff. Like, it really does cover 2 times the amount. Like people using like 3 cans in it, or even like after their second can, it didn't look this finished, and this is like really 1 can in, so that's pretty good. I'm very impressed in this. And yeah, like, it doesn't like clump up like the not epoxy, what is it, I don't know, it's like epoxy kind of stuff like that sort of clumped up a little bit. The other acrylic got a bit like harder, like that's kind of like a scratchy kind of hard. This seems to, it's coat evenly. It does get a bit thicker if you accidentally spray one bit a bit harder, but as it dries, it dries nicely. Like, this looks very uniform. Like, that's pretty good. And I haven't brushed it. This is just my second coat. Like, that's amazing for a second coat. My first was very light, so that's good. So yeah, did my last coat. I honestly don't think I really needed it, and I just gave it a bit of a brush. And yeah, it's looking great. I got no complaints. It's turned out probably a bit better than I thought it would. Because yeah, I just wanted it to be a bit darker, but that looks almost like a factory black. Like, I used a satin 2X, whatever it's called, Rust-Oleum. I only went with the satin instead of the matte black because I'm going to be painting some other trim pieces, and I went satin with the other ones, so it's like, it's all that kind of nice. And yeah, it's good. Like, it's nice. It's not gonna come off. It feels still like a like the roof line. It doesn't have like a tackiness to it. It's already dry, and it's, you know, it's the same day when I started painting it. And yeah, it's still got like that sort of like, you know, fabricy texture. If you can see that, if it's gonna do it. There we go. So yeah, it's still like, yeah, like all the little individual hairs and stuff, you can still
see their individual hairs. They haven't clumped up or anything.
So yeah, I'm just gonna let it dry. As I don't know, like I don't need to put this back in the truck for a while. So obviously paint is gonna. It doesn't smell like paint around here, but in a closed environment with the heat and sun cooking down on the truck, probably start to smell a bit, painty. So I'm just gonna leave it here, let it fully cure, dry, or whatever. It's gonna dry more probably. And yeah, I hope you liked it, the video, and it helps make your decision a bit easier. If you're tossing and turning between should I, shouldn't I, and if you can't get that, the premium VHF something, I'm not too sure, I think it was something like that, but it's like the vinyl and fabric from America. It's got really good stars. You can't get in Australia, well I couldn't anyway. So yeah, the Rust-Oleum 2X, that can over there, this one here. Yeah, couldn't recommend it more. It's really good, and like I've maybe used like maybe 1.5 full, like one full can and maybe half, maybe 1.5. So that's pretty good. I'm very impressed with that, because yeah, most people are using like three cans or so. So yep, I recommend it. It's worked well, and it's dry, so it's not going to get any tacky or anything. So yep. If this video helps you, feel free to like and subscribe and all that, and I'll probably be making more videos along the way.